Well, Thami Dickson is attending the summit. Eben Jansen spoke to him earlier.
It's been a long night again, with negotiators spending another night in the chambers, really trying to get a deal that will be produced and released to everybody today as they have promised. But I can tell you right now, the mood is really not looking good. The hopes have deflated, the energy levels have gone down since we've been speaking to quite a lot of people here. And there's a sense, really, that yes, there will be an agreement probably this afternoon, but it will certainly not be the kind of the agreement that they've been looking for, which is a legally binding agreement. So the expectations are not really high about the legally binding agreement. But we're also hearing again that we may not even get that agreement today. Some people are suggesting that it could come tomorrow, as they are still battling really to get some agreements on the difficult issues that they are facing. So it's a wait and see game until a little later on today. But what we know for a fact is going to happen today is the closing ceremony of this summit. It has to come to an end. So that will happen. Perhaps we'll have officials remaining just to, dot some I's and cross some T's for the final agreement for tomorrow.
Now, Thami, just take us through some of the biggest elephants in the room during the COP21.
Oh, Elvis, these are the issues that have been frustrating this process, I would imagine, for about 6 years now, or even longer. And one of these, and there are probably three difficult issues here, and they are political in nature, which make them very, very difficult. One of them really is about the financing of the developing countries or the poor countries who have to make a transition from the fossil fuels that they're using now, which are contributing to the climate change or to these rising global temperatures. Now, those countries, they have to make a transition. They have to move beyond using coal and oil and to get into renewable energies. Now, that's a huge, huge debate, because the question is, how do you then move them over from coal and oil into renewable energies? Because they don't have money. They are dependent on what they have right now. And if we are saying they must make a transition, then the implications of that is that they're going to slow down their economic development. That is the issue. And how do they slow down their economic development when they are facing such very difficult social issues, such as unemployment, such as poverty in many countries in Africa? So it's very, very difficult. So that means they need money. You have to give them money to make that transition. And that's the issue here. The second one, if you have time, Elvis, really it's another political question, which relates to the sharing of the liability of the damage that has been caused by the climate change already. Now, the developing countries, they are saying, well, look, you're talking about the next 50 years or so of the climate change causing a lot of damages. We can tell you right now that we are experiencing a lot of damages already. So we need money for the damages that we have already incurred. So there's a compensation money that they need from the developing countries who have used these fossil fuels for years, and the impact has been felt by the poor countries. So it's another political question, very, very difficult. But another issue that relates to money as well is the issue about contributing to what they call a global climate fund. Now, when these negotiations started, Elvis, about 20 years ago, the world was divided into two blocks. There was a block of rich countries and a block of poor countries. That's how the world was. So the rich countries, they knew that they have to give money to poor countries. But a lot has happened over the years. They are arguing that the world has changed. Things are not the same anymore. You have more countries from the developing world that are rich today, the Middle East countries, your South Africa, your China, your Brazil, those countries are no longer poor. They are emerging economies that are able to sustain themselves. The argument is that they can't be benefiting now from this climate finance. They must also contribute. So it's a very, very difficult issue. Perhaps the last elephant in the room here is the degree to which you can allow the temperatures to rise. Some people are saying, let's allow these temperatures to rise until 2 degrees Celsius, because that's what scientists are saying. But the island states, the poor countries, the coastal countries, they say, no, 2 degrees is it will take forever. We are actually in danger right now. We need to bring down these limits, the limit from 2 degrees to 1.5 degrees Celsius. And it's a very, very difficult issue as well. So these are the issues that they've been battling with for over the last couple of years. And I don't see them finding one another, even in this conference, to be able to find a legally binding agreement.
Well, that was our reporter Thami Dickson talking earlier on Newsroom. He's reporting live from the COP summit in Paris. But staying with this, it's been 2 weeks of rigorous debate at the climate change talks in Paris. Expectations among the thousands of delegates attending vary from cautious optimism to little hope that it will yield.